Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what just transpired in the most hidden corners of hip-hop aristocracy. Blood on high-end shoes, police sirens, monitors in the intensive care unit, and, most importantly, 50 Cent in critical condition. After a deadly attack that was allegedly initiated by none other than Papoose are all topics of discussion. You heard right, Mr. Loyalty didn't get angry all of a sudden. He tried to finish him. Furthermore, a storm of betrayal was sparked by Remy Ma's leaked nude photos. Let it marinate for a while. Why did 50 Cent's iCloud end up containing Remy's private photos? Why was Papoose stalking around a covert rooftop club with murder in his sights? How did a rap mogul end up in the critical care unit after a near-fatal beating and seductive photos? We're not just giving away information, revealing voicemails, reports, and confidential agendas you shouldn't know about. This goes beyond a simple dispute. The controversy is raging. Hold on tight. This is a serious betrayal. Invoices are shocking. And trust us when we tell you that no one gets out of the story alive. Every story starts with a whisper, a blurry photo, an enigmatic tweet, or a dubious post. But this time, the whisper turned into a shout, a cry so loud that the entire internet might wake up. It is now waking in the intensive care unit, the loudest troll and sharpest tongued artist in hip-hop. 50 Cent, after a deadly physical attack that left him bleeding in front of Manhattan's elite. EMT insiders say he is now lying silent in a hospital bed, wounded, shattered, and barely aware. And who is accused of assault? Who's that, Papoose? The man who once boldly rapped about love, devotion, and black brilliance, but allegedly didn't rap about anger. And what caused this meltdown? Not money, not a diss track. Remy Ma is alleged to have leaked naked pictures, though, yes, we did warn you about how awful it was. Sources said that the attack was so brutal that it seemed like, on Twitter, that isn't drama the NYPD refers to? Today, they want to know how we went from rap to ICU beds to beef. Let's return. 3 weeks ago, a mysterious digital file started to arrive at gossip pages. No name, no caption, just a series of personal, blatantly private photos, allegedly of Remy Ma. At first, the blogs disregarded it. Tattoos, real scars, and body piercings. Everything was in a single post. Otherwise, I am legally blind. It's not Remy. Then came the shocking revelation regarding digital forensics. Information in the images connected them to an iCloud account, connected to a burner phone that belonged to 50 Cent, whose real identity was Curtis Jackson. Suddenly, the internet took off. The Remy leak gained notoriety. Memes went viral. Some people laughed and others defended. One man, though, wasn't even giggling. Papoose. For years, he has been the model of stability. Composing poetry about their love, refusing ludicrous deals to protect Remy's name, and holding her accountable. When she was incarcerated, this storm was different, though, and the man became angry. Then came the quiet days. Before everything exploded last Saturday night, no public statements or derogatory remarks had been made. 50 Cent recently hosted a lavish event at the Vibe Vault, a posh rooftop lounge in the Lower East Side. It was an invitation from moguls, models, and cash everywhere. Fifth was a rare form: champagne pouring, girls laughing, and inadequate security. It was surprising that Papoose was already on the property. According to a staff member who spoke on condition of anonymity, Papoose wore modest clothing, pretended to be someone else, and said nothing. He apparently ordered water from the bar and watched for almost an hour. Then, as soon as 50 stepped outside to retrieve his car, mayhem ensued. Police have obtained security footage that allegedly shows Papoose tightening his hands and charging 50 from behind. The incident that follows is considered to be among the worst celebrity assaults the NYPD has ever seen. Witnesses reported that 50 was a strong right hook, took him by surprise, and brought him crashing to the ground. Before anyone could react, Papoose was on top of him, pounding him with his bare hands. One account claims that blood, shattered sunglasses, and even teeth were all over the sidewalk. When he tried to step in, a bouncer was elbowed to the ground. 3 bodyguards eventually managed to pry Papoose away, but the damage was already done. 50 was bleeding from his mouth and nostrils. His left eye was swollen shut, and he was unconscious. EMTs arrived on the scene within minutes. Almost immediately, after being transported to Mount Sinai Hospital, 50 Cent was placed in critical care. He suffered a dislocated shoulder, a broken orbital bone, 2 cracked ribs, and a severe concussion. He reportedly regained consciousness later that night just to ask, "Where's Remy?" and then turned dark again. He requested Remy Ma without posing. The questions, "Where am I?" or "What happened?" Which begs the question, what kind of history were they hiding? Because this is the more startling aspect. Now, pause. Rewind that. Remy hasn't denied any of it. Instead, she has been totally changed into a ghost. No posts, no tweets, no shows. Her public relations team's statement that Miss Mackey is asking for privacy at this time. She is not involved in any current criminal investigation. Seems more like a canned response. Prenuptial agreement rather than a confession of innocence. Isn't that right? Hold on, though, because it gets more juicy. An anonymous bartender who witnessed the attack claims that Papoose was shouting what he stated. "You thought I wouldn't be aware? Do you really believe I wouldn't see the messages you two sent each other?" The phrase, "y'all," is the most obvious. Indeed, precisely. Not him. No, it's not her. Thus, the claim that Remy Ma's private photos were leaked is not the only one. It's that she may have sent them to 50 on purpose. This wasn't a single pic, people. As per an individual with knowledge of the inquiry, 12 different images were extracted from the cloud, and Remy was in Miami without Papoose, approximately from April 3rd to April 8th. All of them were time-stamped. Who else was in Miami that weekend, do you think? 50 Cent. They were even spotted seated at separate tables at a private Stars Network dinner, apparently for a potential scripted collaboration. But currently, the only programmed item is the heartbeat monitor for the 50s. Fans are going crazy on the internet. An example of a non-business tweet would be Remy's out here sending thirst traps while Papoose writing her poems. That was terrible. Finally, 50 experienced a more severe beating than his vitamin water supply. But behind the jokes, a darker tone is being expressed in public. That the situation was never solely caused by jealousy or leaked images. It was a slow betrayal. Papoose had also been monitoring everything. An unverified report claims that Papoose was able to use the tracker app on Remy's previous phone, which gave him access to screenshots, SMS, and deleted direct chats. Both the plausibility and legality of that are questionable. 'Cause, let's be honest, mindless rage was not the driving force for the attack. A surgical operation was performed. This wasn't a bar fight, it was calculated. This man didn't come to fight. He came to finish, according to a colleague of the lead detective on the case. And Papoose's charges might rapidly spiral out of control if that's the case. He is already facing felony charges of premeditated battery, aggravated assault, attempted manslaughter, and potentially conspiracy in the event that stalking or tech-based surveillance is proven. But the weirdest part is yet to come. After he was detained and booked, police examined his jacket and found something far more menacing than a knife or gun. A folded, sweat-stained envelope that read, "This ain't loyalty, loyalty." And let's be clear, this wasn't just a tirade. It was a poetic, calculated breakdown of everything Papoose felt had gone wrong in his marriage, in the industry, and most damningly with Remy Ma and 50 Cent. Inside, there was a 4-page letter, written entirely in cursive and in black ink. Investigators are calling this a manifesto of betrayal. One passage reads, They sent each other laughs and lies while I built castles on the floor of a jail. I held her in check. Now she lifts. Her dress for clowns I will never forgive. One man posed as another videotaped the fall, but neither man was aware of it. According to the responding cops, the tone was calm, almost meditative. And that's what made it so terrifying, because this wasn't an unplanned outburst, but rather planned heartbreak turned into a weapon. But wait, here's where it all goes wrong. 24 hours after that letter was made public, an anonymous source, who is allegedly a part of Remy Ma's former glam squad, leaked a voicemail to a gossip podcast. The voicemail was from Lex from the Bronx, Remy Ma's former best friend and ex-stylist who vanished from the public eye years ago after an unexplained falling out. And in it, Lex drops the hammer. I told her that 50 wasn't safe, not for her. Name, not for her heart, and she didn't listen. We'll look at the timeline next. In early April, 50 Cent and Remy Ma were seen together at a Star's pre-production dinner, allegedly for a new female-driven hip-hop series. She knew it, but she didn't think he'd find out. That leak went viral on the internet. It wasn't a mystery how the photos got out. It was how long Remy had been playing with fire before everything burned down. The two were seen together at a private poolside party in South Beach later that week. And although there were no official photos or tags, fans thought Remy was alone with 50, late into the night after seeing a grainy photo of her car in the valet lot. Time-stamped at 2:13 a.m., things became shady when Papoose canceled 3 scheduled studio sessions within days of that trip, citing a family situation. And a cousin who spoke anonymously claimed that Papoose started sleeping on the couch. Even more damning, investigators allegedly found spyware on Remy Ma's old tablet connected to a phony Gmail account that was connected to Papoose's old business email. Yes, this means that he might have had access to her cloud, her texts, her direct messages, and possibly even the photos before they were ever leaked. Therefore, if 50 Cent never leaked the photos publicly, but ended up in the hospital, it suggests that the beating wasn't about exposure, but rather about violation, about crossing an invisible line that led straight to the intensive care unit. 50 is still in critical but stable condition, but his camp is furious. One Geet associate told the Shade Spot, he isn't letting this slide as soon as he is once again mobile. Have faith that he will take to court. And the booth. Yes, there are rumors that 50 is already writing a diss song called Riker's Romance while he is in the hospital. The rumored lyrics include, "You held her hand, I possess the proof, and now you're in jail. The booth is where I am. Savage without a doubt, and don't expect him to stop there." Sources claim that he is working on a documentary-style podcast to shed light on what actually happened. Working title, Kept Quiet by Allegiance. This stuff cannot be made up. Oh, hold on. We can, indeed. And we did. Meanwhile, there is a lot of conjecture on the streets. Supporters say Papoose is a hero for defending his marriage, while others call him dangerous and insane. Another increasingly popular argument is that Remy Ma orchestrated the whole thing to discredit both men and reclaim her title as the scandal's survivor queen. For TikTok clips in one, according to 3 million views, Remy was never hacked, sent. The pictures had access to Papoose and purposefully set off the explosion to end the marriage. And that's where things quickly turn legal. Because Papoose's defense may be strengthened if prosecutors can show that betrayal, not premeditation, was the motivation behind this crime of passion, but the letter in the jacket, the spy gear, and the fact that Papoose reportedly flew into Manhattan with just that envelope and gloves are undermining that theory. Keep in mind that 50 Cent is a multimillionaire, a media powerhouse, and a well-known figure. He might file a lawsuit seeking millions of dollars in damages. Remy Ma hasn't revealed her face, which is even stranger. She was last seen in public 72 hours prior to the incident, leaving a Queens recording studio. Since then, there have been no interviews, performances, or stories, just one enigmatic tweet that has since been taken down. However, 50's team has remained silent until today while Remy hides and Papoose awaits his arraignment. A recent insider leak claims that 50 Cent has formally increased security around his hospital room and is talking to federal authorities about alleged digital privacy violations related to Remy Ma's accidental posting of sexual material. Exactly, it's possible that this betrayal occurred more than once. Perhaps there was a pattern to it. Perhaps it was a game of control, leverage, and power in the digital sphere. If that's the case, 50 Cent's list of enemies will grow significantly. The first thing 50 requested after waking up, according to the hospital staff, wasn't water. We all know what that means. He's planning. And the first name at the top of that list is Remy. There he was with a guard at the hospital door, tubes in his arm and facial bruises, but instead of calling his lawyer or family, 50 Cent asked for a pen and a notepad. The one thing he knows better than anyone else, because there isn't peace when 50 people are silent. It's a warning. Insiders say he scribbled line after line for nearly 2 hours without saying a word. One nurse said he was loading ammunition, not writing. The moment he could talk, he made one call. Not to Remy, not to the cops, but to a producer at Gunnet Films. In typical 50 Cent fashion, he continued, "I got something hotter than power." This time, it was real blood. And so, Enemies List was born. From his hospital bed, a limited drama television series is currently being quietly built. Imagine D-Line meets Drink Champions, but with real names, secrets, and film. Can you guess who it is? Remy Ma is rumored to feature in episode 1, The Leaks. Title is Queen. And it gets messier just when you think it can't be much messier. Something else, they have filed a formal lawsuit to obtain access to Remy Ma's digital cloud, citing her as a key player in a case involving aggravated assault, digital exploitation, and possible witness tampering. Now, the woman who was praised when she was released from jail is facing a very different kind of heat this time: silence and high heels. Meanwhile, Papoose, who tabloids have now labeled the rap vigilante, is sitting in a chilly Rikers cell on $2 million bail and is silent, but his legal team is making a lot of noise. His lawyer revealed this startling information during a heated press conference outside the courthouse. The public's perception begins to shift when a powerful person takes advantage of your wife and you lose your temper. This was character self-defense, according to some followers, especially on Black Twitter. 50 Cent, a notorious stirrer, walks away from the victim while Papoose is punished for defending his marriage. Anyone would, but others aren't so sympathetic, they say. A betrayal cannot be used as an excuse to beat someone into a coma. The last wild card in this whole drama is Remy Ma. Where is she? According to TMZ, she was last spotted in Atlanta, boarding a private jet that was allegedly owned by a Southern music artist. There's therapy for that. One tweet read, "Fifth snapped after releasing that girl's nude photos and then grinning about it." 50. Her team recently announced a surprise EP titled Still Not Sorry, which is scheduled to drop next Friday. The lyrics reportedly address exposure, betrayal, and being blamed for men's egos. She's not just leaning into the drama, she's monetizing it. He's not letting that slide. They dropped in peace while I'm dropping lawsuits. One-hit wonders better run. In other words, you messed up the bag. 50 Cent is suing Papoose and Remy Ma for physical harm, emotional distress, and lost brand revenue from missed partnerships. His lawyers estimate losses exceeding $7 million based on a critical disruption in production schedules, streaming partnerships, and brand sponsorships. Now, pay up. Since it contains a list of additional women whose images may have gone via the 50's cloud, the complaint isn't petty. Rather, it's surgical. The names have been deleted. But they claim that he was enjoying more than simply pleasure. 50 Cent may have been operating a digital vault of secrets for years. And now the vault is opening. Enter the FBI. Yes, you read correctly. Federal cybercrime. Investigators have begun a quiet investigation into cloud-based image exploitation involving multiple celebrities and unauthorized storage of explicit content. If they find enough evidence, 50 Cent may go from victim to suspect. The true story may not be about Remy and Pap, but rather about the number of other people 50 was sitting on Weir talking about former collaborators, reality stars, and up-and-coming rappers. Let's break this down. We started with leaked nude photos that led to a fatal beating, then a man in the intensive care unit, a woman in hiding, and possibly a media kingpin facing federal charges. But now for the final twist. Late last night, an anonymous YouTube channel posted a 27-second grainy video of security footage with the timestamp location blurred that showed Remy Ma pulling up to 50 Cent's estate alone. She is seen getting out of the car, clutching what looks like a gift bag, and the caption reads, "Queen or traitor." The video has already received 12 million views. Let's not pretend it is over. Let's not act like the courtrooms and cameras will bring real closure. The truth is that this was never just about Rise photos. Reddit threads are analyzing the shadows in the footage, TikTokers are using memes, and Twitter to recreate the scene. Twitter is in flames, and one post best sums it. Remy walked in with a bag. 3 careers, 1 scandal. And the truth buried somewhere beneath cloud passwords and police reports. Backhand index pointing right. Hit that. 50 Cent is now planning his retaliation, not with fists, but with scripts and subpoenas. The real question is, was this a calculated move by Remy Ma to end her marriage and rebrand as a solo powerhouse? Balance scale? Or was she used by 50 and then by the media in a scandal she couldn't escape? Most importantly, how many other celebrities are next on the 50's vault list? Trust us, this is just the beginning. The truth always comes out in a celebrity. Tycoon like a button if your jaw dropped at least once. Backhand index pointing right. Comment below and tell us who you think Papoose is, 50 or Remy. Don't forget to subscribe to Celeb Tycoon, because we'll be releasing leaked audio of a phone conversation between Remy Ma and an unidentified industry executive next week. Let's just say it's delivering damage control with a side of guilt.